In recent times, everybody is talking about that Qantas test flight that flew straight for 24 hours and 24 minutes from Melbourne in Australia to Toulouse in France, breaking all the previous records of the longest flights by any commercial airliner. And yes, you've heard that right, the Project Sunrise. Hello everybody, I am Anamitra Bhattacharya and welcome to my channel Aviation with Anamitra. And in this video, we are going to discuss about this Project Sunrise. So anybody planning to fly from Sydney to cities like London or New York had to take the flights which contain one stop either in Asia or Middle East, or if they're flying to US to New York, they have to take one stop maybe in the US coast. But the passengers generally prefer direct non-stop flights rather than one-stop flights. So to address this issue, the former Qantas CEO Alan Joyce wrote letters to Boeing and Airbus to build an aircraft that could fly non-stop from Sydney to cities like London or New York. So now we know what is the purpose of it. But why this name, Project Sunrise? So after the fall of Singapore to the Japanese forces during the Second World War, the air connection between Australia and UK was snapped. And to make it unhindered, Qantas started its 33 hour long flight from Perth in Australia to Ceylon, which is present in Sri Lanka, across the Indian Ocean on a Catalina flying boat. On that flight, passengers used to witness the sunrise twice, and those flights were called the double sunrise flights. And so they would on these flights under Project Sunrise, and hence the name Project Sunrise. So both Airbus and Boeing had pitched their aircraft to Qantas. Boeing had suggested the 777-8, which had a massive range and was fitting all the requirements of the airline. On the other hand, Airbus had proposed the A350-900 ULR, but an upgraded version of it, the Airbus A350-1000 Ultra Long Range. So, finally, after a lot of things, finally in 2019, Qantas officially picked Airbus for this project and ordered 12 A350 1000U ultra long range aircrafts, and during which their CEO Alan Joyce stated that A350 and Project Sunrise will make any city just a flight away from Australia, is the final frontier and the final fix for the tyranny of distance. But the question arises, why did Qantas prefer Airbus over Boeing? Like Boeing is always known for its range, and before this test flight, Boeing 777-200 long range used to hold a world record for the longest commercial flight with a duration of 22 hours and 42 minutes. Then why the Airbus A350 was picked up? So the Boeing had proposed the 777-8, which was incredible on paper, but in real life, as we all know, Boeing is suffering with the certification issues of its 777X, which could have caused a lot of delay to the certification and production of its proposed 777-8. Moreover, the majority of the Qantas's wide-body aircrafts and pilots and crew who were flying on such long international routes were accustomed to Airbus, like operating on aircrafts like the Airbus A380, A330, etc., which makes it much cheaper and faster for them to train on an Airbus aircraft like A350 rather than planes like or Boeing like 777-8 and all. So what is different in A350-1000 ULR than any other aircraft like maybe Airbus A350 or A350-1000, etc.? So the A350-1000 ULR has an integrated rear center tank and additional fuel tank at the rear section of the fuselage, just right after the wings, which gives it an additional 20,000 liters of fuel capacity to the aircraft, which makes such a long flight possible. And this 1000 ULR is powered by two Rolls-Royce Trent XWB-97 engines, which increases its maximum takeoff weight (MTOW). Moreover, this particular variant 1000 ULR is configured into a lower passenger density with only 238 seats across the four classes, which is lower than any other airline operating the Airbus AC-50. Just think, the aircraft which is certified to carry a passenger load of 410 will just operate on 238 seats. Just imagine. And this aircraft offers a significantly better climate control, like the introduction of a lighter galley air cooling system and advanced cabin pressure management, which maintains a 6,000 feet altitude pressure. And now, why the specific 6,000 foot altitude pressure? Because at this altitude, the human body has a higher oxygen saturation rates, and it reduces dehydration in the human body, which curbs the fatigue and the jet lag for the passengers and crew to a lot extent. So let's see, how is the cabin of this aircraft arranged? So, as I said, this aircraft is configured into a four-class configuration. That is, it has first class, business class, premium economy, and economy. So there are six first-class suites which offer 80 inches flatbed with a separate reclining armchair, which is literally more of like a room flying for 22 hours. Not like the residence on Etihad, but somewhat like that. Then comes 52 business class suites, which also offer the same 80 inches flat bed. And for the first time, Qantas is providing an additional sliding door in the business class for enhancing the privacy. Now there are 40 premium economy seats which offer an adjustable winged privacy headrest for maximizing the comfort on such a long flight. And the 140 economy seats have a multi-layered memory foam system which reduces the fatigue of the passengers and enhances comfort on this 22-hour long flight, converting it into a beautiful dream for the passengers rather than a technical nightmare. And my favorite part of this aircraft is the well-being zone, which is located between the economy and premium economy classes. So if you're flying the first class or business class, you have a lot of area to stretch and to rest. But if you're flying in the premium economy or in the economy, you have comparatively a very less area where you can expand. So maybe you can go to this open area where you can stretch, have refreshments, hydrate yourselves through the hydration pump. Sorry, through the yeah, and it also contains screens, which has guided movement, which helps you to stretch in specific postures, which can reduce the fatigue of flying so long. So this was suggested by an industrial designer, David Keon, with a collaboration with sleep scientists and health experts at the University of Sydney's Charles Perkins Centre. So it is something that I really appreciate on this new flight. So after a series of test flights, this aircraft, A350-1000 ULR, named Vega, with the registration FWULR or Foxtrot Whiskey Uniform Lima Romeo, covered this path, which you can see from Melbourne to Toulouse to the Airbus's factory, which took it 24 hours and 24 minutes to test the endurance of the flight and also to compute the passenger and crew fatigue. And this has set the world record for the longest non-stop flight by any commercial airliner, breaking the previous record set by Boeing 777-200 long range for flying 22 hours and 42 minutes, which was set back in 2005. Now, the first aircraft, which is this aircraft named Vega, is expected to be delivered to Qantas somewhere near around April 2027, and it's expected to start its operations from the October of 2027 between Sydney and London, and hopefully in the late 2027 or maybe early 2028, they will also launch direct flights from Sydney to New York JFK. The flight timings and the flight schedule during the flight will be adjusted as per the destination they're flying so that the passenger sleep cycle can be adjusted to that to a lot of extent, which will also reduce the jet lag, obviously. And the fares are expected to be 20 to 30% more than the layover options available on this route, and obviously that's legit. And this is all that I had about Project Sunrise. And let me know in the comments if you would take this flight or go for a layover option instead. At least I am very excited to fly on this once it starts operating. And for now, it is all that I had about Project Sunrise. So please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more Sky High knowledge simplified for you.